Good day, everybody. It's Andrew here, and welcome back to my channel. Today we have an update regarding President Biden and the $200 per month stimulus checks for everybody on Social Security, SSI, and SSDI. Now, checks for seniors is something that President Biden has promised for basically 2 years at this point. On the campaign trail, he promised to increase Social Security benefits, increase SSI, and increase SSDI as well. Then he was on board with $200 per month stimulus checks until the pandemic was over, which was expected to last 2 years and add up to $2,400. Well, here, directly on the president's website, we have a note titled, "Notes from Joe, my plan to protect seniors." So let's discuss the details, exactly what Joe Biden said, and what we expect to happen next. But first, do me a huge favor, hit like, hit subscribe, and share this channel with anyone who you think might find this helpful. You can also support my work by subscribing to my second channel. The link to that is going to be in the comments of this video. And on that channel, we're going to have some updates as well, but it's going to be mostly entertainment. I'm going to go live and play live bingo, play the lottery live, play casino games, and you guys can comment and I can respond live. Kind of a community to have fun and almost ignore the serious topics we talk about on this channel. So with that said, let's jump into today's update. First of all, regarding the current stimulus package, the week of Thanksgiving this week, Congress is fully on vacation. So you're not going to see any packages approved this week. You're not going to see Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer or Joe Manchin kind of making any huge demands this week, as they are on vacation and they will be back next week. And we're hoping to have that stimulus package fully approved next week. Nancy Pelosi got the stimulus check package approved in the House. Now it's currently going to end up in the Senate. This week, it looks like the parliamentarian is going to parse through the package, make sure it follows all the proper protocols that are required in order to do a budget reconciliation bill, which is the process they're using for this package. But then it will end up in the Senate, at which point we're hoping to have it approved either next week or the week after that. Chuck Schumer said the absolute drop-dead deadline is Christmas. So about a month from now, we should have that stimulus package fully approved. One quick note when it comes to stimulus is we had some good news. Jerome Powell is going to be reassigned the Fed chair by President Biden. Now, this is good news because the Fed always supported more stimulus throughout this pandemic. They encouraged President Trump to approve more stimulus checks last year. They also encouraged Joe Biden to do the third stimulus check this year, and they continue to do their own stimulus programs that they have the power to do in the stock market. They're constantly buying bonds and pumping more money into the economy to try and stimulate this economy. So having Jerome Powell in charge is good for stimulus. He supports more stimulus, and that bodes well when it comes to seniors getting more stimulus checks going forward. It also provides some stability in the markets, as changing the Fed chair right now as inflation is ramping up is really not a good idea. It creates too many question marks, right? So although he is a Republican appointed by President Trump and Democrats are currently in power, Joe Biden thought it was best to maintain stability, keep Jerome Powell in the Fed chair position, which also bodes well for stimulus because he supports stimulus checks as well. So really good news overall when it comes to the Fed chair. Jerome Powell is going to be in power, and again, this is a good thing for stimulus. President Biden picks Jerome Powell to lead the Fed for a second term as the U.S. battles COVID still and inflation. So a lot of liberals like AOC are giving President Biden a hard time because they wanted a more democratic, more liberal person in place. But Joe Biden thought it was the best thing to keep Jerome Powell in place. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Are you happy that Jerome Powell will continue to be the Fed chair? Or do you think they should have replaced them with someone who is more liberal? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, when it comes to President Biden approving stimulus checks for seniors, increasing Social Security benefits, increasing SSI and SSDI, it's been a long road, folks. And, you know, on this channel, we cover updates on Social Security. We cover daily news in politics and the economy and how this might affect those who are retired. And we've been talking about it for about a year and a half at this point. Joe Biden promised to increase Social Security benefits. And a lot of this stemmed from Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who basically campaigned on taking care of seniors by lowering prescription drug costs, expanding Medicare, expanding Social Security, and approving $200 per month stimulus checks until the pandemic is over for everyone on Social Security, SSI, and SSDI. Well, President Biden jumped on board with this while he was campaigning, and he also promised the exact same things. He promised to do all of this for seniors and for SSI and SSDI as well. Well, now we're almost a year into President Biden's presidency, and he still has not gotten these things done. So where do things stand today? Is President Biden going to take care of seniors? Is he going to provide more affordable housing? Is he going to lower prescription drug costs? Is he going to increase Social Security benefits? And is he going to approve stimulus checks for seniors, whether it's the monthly stimulus checks for seniors of $200 per month, or a $1,400 stimulus check all at once, which Bernie Sanders is currently trying to include in this package. Is any of this going to happen? Does Joe Biden care about seniors? I mean, he's a senior himself, right? I mean, he collects Social Security benefits himself. You would think he would take care of seniors right away. Now, there's been a lot going on. There's been inflation. There's been the third stimulus check package. Then there was the Build Back Better stimulus package that they're currently working on. Then the physical stimulus plan, which was just approved. Of course, there's been a lot going on, but some would argue that President Biden could have actually included the stimulus check for seniors in one of those stimulus packages, right? Whether it was the third stimulus check package or this Build Back Better Act. Now, Senator Bernie Sanders is still trying to include it in this package, but things are still up in the air. Now, I wanted to read this excerpt from President Biden's website that just shows you how dedicated he says he is to seniors. So let's read this note, this message from Joe Biden detailing his dedication to seniors. So this really bodes well, because the fact that it's still on his website really gives us hope that he's going to deliver on his promise to increase benefits and approve stimulus check. Now, this note is titled, Notes from Joe, My Plan to Protect Seniors. As I looked out during my speech last week in South Florida, I was happy to see Carl Sester, 93 years young and a pillar of his community. Carl's story is quintessentially American. He came to this country as an immigrant and fought honorably during World War II. 77 years ago, he met his sweetheart, Anita, and they now have 4 children and 7 grandchildren. But this pandemic has turned Carl and Anita's lives upside down. They now spend most of their time at home. It's difficult to even spend time with family and friends. It breaks my heart to think of all the parents and grandparents who haven't seen their loved ones in months, to think about the seniors worried about making their next rent payments or whether or not they can purchase their prescription drugs, to think about the 8 out of 10 people who have passed away from COVID-19 who are older than 65. What makes this all even more heartbreaking is it didn't have to be this way. We're suffering because we have not controlled the pandemic, and we have not provided enough economic assistance to our seniors. When it comes to looking out for our seniors, the contrast in this election couldn't be clear. At this very moment, we need to increase Social Security benefits, we need to expand SSI and SSDI, we need to expand Medicare and lower prescription drugs. President Biden is also on board with providing stimulus checks for seniors. As president, I will always support seniors. I'll take on pharmaceutical companies and allow Medicare to use its enormous bargaining power to negotiate the price of prescription drugs for seniors and give all Americans access to those lower prices. An independent analysis found that my plan will slash the cost of drugs by 60%. Kamala and I will defend and strengthen Medicare and Medicaid, 2 critical programs that are a lifeline for millions of seniors, vulnerable Americans, and those who are disabled. We will strengthen Social Security and expand benefits as well. My plan also makes bold investments so states can finally help seniors who have signed up for home and community care through Medicaid. 800,000 people are waiting for a phone call back. We need to clear this waiting list so seniors can get the home health care they deserve. And mark my words, a Biden-Harris administration will protect Social Security and increase benefits for millions of seniors. I want to highlight that and say it again. Mark my words, Biden and Harris will protect Social Security and increase benefits for millions of seniors. It's right here, guys, on President Biden's website while he was campaigning. From day one, we'll work to safeguard the retirement savings and pensions that hardworking Americans have earned and deserve. Right here on the website, folks. See, so when I make these daily updates, these are not things I'm making up. These aren't things I'm doing for fun or whatever you want to call it. These are things that President Biden promised before he was elected. Seniors elected him to the presidency, and now he needs to deliver on that promise. It is still on his website, folks, to increase Social Security benefits, to approve stimulus checks for seniors. This is why we send this message every day, folks, to make sure that we keep President Biden to his promise. And let me know in the comments if you agree. So currently we have President Biden and Democrats working on the stimulus check package, aka the Build Back Better Act. But as I said previously, they're on vacation this entire week, right? They honestly should not be going on vacation until the stimulus check package is approved. And let me know in the comments if you agree on that. While the American people are struggling to pay for their Thanksgiving meals, they're taking an entire week off. It's not really fair. They should be in Congress taking care of the American people. So with that said, when they come back, there's 2 weeks until they're supposed to go on vacation again. My God, I mean, if I had a schedule like this, it's just, look at that. They take a week off for Thanksgiving, they work 2 weeks, then they take another month off for Christmas. I mean, it's like being in college or high school, for God's sakes. But This is why most likely they're going to try and get the stimulus package done by the second week of December before they go on vacation. But the drop dead deadline is by Christmas, right? And then this is also tied in with the debt ceiling crisis. Now remember, the debt ceiling crisis is something that has to be addressed by the middle of December. And there's been a big controversy here because Mitch McConnell did not want to help Democrats raise the debt ceiling, which is always a thing. Usually Democrats and Republicans always work together to increase the debt ceiling, and Mitch McConnell was not working with Democrats, and this was kind of complicating negotiations on the stimulus check package because Mitch McConnell was trying to force Democrats to include the debt ceiling increase bill in the stimulus package, and for various reasons that was complicating things and complicating negotiations. I won't go too deep into details for that on this video, but we've talked about that a lot on my channel. Well, there are reports as of last week that Mitch McConnell is supposedly now working with Chuck Schumer, and supposedly he's going to help them approve this debt ceiling increase. So that is a huge change from what he was saying before. Previously, he wasn't going to help them at all, and now it looks like the debt ceiling crisis should be solved and should not get in the way of getting the stimulus package done. So that's really good news for stimulus, because for a while we were worried that this debt ceiling crisis could end up complicating the stimulus package negotiations because Republicans were going to try and force Democrats to include it in the stimulus package, and that was only going to make things even more difficult. So Mitch McConnell apparently is singing quite a different tune now, supposedly being on board to helping Democrats approve the debt ceiling increase, a stark difference from what he was saying just about a month ago when he was trying to force Democrats to do it on their own. Now, to end this video, first I want to say there's going to be a lot of updates in the next few days, so don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to keep you posted as things develop on the next stimulus package and Social Security benefits. But I want to leave you with a short clip from Mitch McConnell. This was Mitch McConnell about a month ago, saying how adamantly he was not going to help Democrats increase the debt ceiling, and he was going to force them to include it in the stimulus package. Well, just take a look at this clip, see everything he's saying, and now all of a sudden, he's flipping the script and he's going to go ahead and help Democrats. Now, a lot of people are saying it's because the bipartisan physical stimulus package was approved, and now Mitch McConnell is happy and he's on board. Other people are saying that it has to do with former President Trump, that Mitch McConnell is working a little bit more with Democrats, almost to spite President Trump, because, you know, we've all seen the documented frictions between Trump and McConnell, right? Trump is constantly slamming Mitch McConnell whenever he does anything with Democrats, and some are saying that Mitch McConnell is doing this now just to spite Trump. But in any case, I'm going to leave you with this clip. Take a look, see what Mitch McConnell had to say, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think he's helping Democrats with the debt ceiling now because he's happy the physical stimulus package was approved? Or do you think he's doing this just to spite President Trump? Just take a look, see what Mitch McConnell had to say, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Republicans are shining a spotlight on the reckless taxing and spending spree that Washington Democrats are riding behind closed doors. The radical left is pushing in all their chips. They want to use this terrible but temporary pandemic as a Trojan horse for permanent socialism. And President Biden, who ran as a unifying moderate, is either powerless to stop them or does not wish to. An avalanche of crushing tax hikes that would hurt families and help China. A government power grab over more of America's health care decisions, child care choices, family finances, and daily lives. Trillions upon trillions more in government spending when families are already facing inflation. None of this, of course, will get a single Republican vote in either chamber. Democrats have not even consulted us. They haven't tried to earn our votes. From the start, they plan to use a party line fast-track process to ram through this version of their vision of America. That's why Republicans will not help this unified Democratic government with its basic duty to raise the debt ceiling. This could not be simpler. If they want to tax, borrow, and spend historic sums of money without our input, they'll have to raise the debt limit without our help. This is the reality. I've been saying this very clearly since July. And I think our Democratic colleagues are finally getting it because now they're fumbling for bogus excuses. They remain confident they can spend trillions of dollars to remake the entire economy in a couple of weeks, but supposedly they just cannot clear this much smaller procedural hurdle without Republican help. Really? Give me a break. Earlier this year, Senate Democrats specifically requested and received extra flexibility around the reconciliation process. They have every procedural tool they need to promptly advance a separate, standalone piece of legislation addressing the debt limit without a single Republican vote. Our colleagues have plenty of time to get this done. It is laughable to hear some Democrats claiming they simply don't have enough time. Last month, Democrats introduced a sweeping budget resolution on August 9th and passed it before sunrise on August 11th, 3 days. Our Democratic colleagues have about a month, plenty of time to do their job as a unified government and protect the full faith and credit of the United States. The Democratic chairman of the House Budget Committee admitted last weekend that Democrats could tackle the debt limit alone. They just don't want to. Some Senate Democrats have said similar things. This may be inconvenient for them, but it is totally possible. And this Democratic government must not manufacture an avoidable crisis for the sake of their own convenience. Senate Democrats know what they need to do. Let me lay it out. They will need to write a short resolution amending their previous budget resolution with new debt limit instructions. They'll take that to the Budget Committee, which will probably deadlock, so they'll vote to discharge it, like they've done for other bills and nominations. Then a vote to proceed on the floor, a limited vote-a-rama, and a vote on final passage. And then, once the budget has been amended, House and Senate Democrats would use the same fast-track process on a short and simple bill to actually raise the debt limit. This won't be a multi-week process, probably about a week of the Senate's time or a little more. And they won't have to wait on their reckless taxing and spending spree even. They can move a standalone debt limit bill all on its own. I understand our Democrat colleagues may feel inconvenienced by this. I understand this may slightly delay their partisan bill.